Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Boy, am I excited about our episode today. Before I introduce our guest, here is a quote just for this episode. Every customer is different, and that makes them special. Serve to their needs and create win-win relationships. Guardian, unique. Our guest today founded Guardian Roofing and Siding many years ago, and since then has helped countless families with their roofing and siding needs. He's a man of culture. If you've heard him on the show before, we've talked everything from his story to business to his philosophy of business to the Guardian values. We've done a series on Guardian Roofing and Siding's values. Robert Frehafer and I go way back many years and have had the great joy of working with him and learning from him and being a part of his culture. Thank you for coming back to the Culture Matters podcast. I'm excited to talk about unique, but from an inverted standpoint, or some other ways to look at the power of that value. Unique. Welcome.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So this value, every customer is different, and that makes them special. Serve to their needs and create win-win relationship. Firstly, what does that mean to you? And then what are some ways to look at it in the opposite?
So one of the the things that rise up the most with that is to it goes in lockstep with another value, which is authentic, which is to listen. Listen to our clients, and their authenticity will become clear to us as a guardian. So the there's other ways than just listening that we can recognize that the customer is different and that it makes them special. So I think even the language that's there, that to recognize that each individual that we come across, each family, each whatever, uh business owner, church board, homeowners association, they're all special. They're all unique in their own way. And the way to understand that they're different, and really takes intentionality. If we have to be intentional in understanding what their needs are, but I don't want to come off just that we're so. It's like there's like a paradox here, because even though I could read through this and say, yep, everybody's different, you know that makes them special, serve to their needs, which could surely be interpreted that, like, whatever the client needs, we're going to do it. That's not what this means. And that's not how I educate the guardians in what the company is. It's not how I educate clients of what we do. What that really means is that we listen, we understand, we look at it. And I'll just give a very simple example. um if a home is, let's just say, we don't do work on mobile homes. They're constructed differently. They don't have the same steepness of a roof. So if somebody calls and they have a mobile home and they have a leak, or they want a roof replacement quote, we'll ask, is this a single family home? We have some criteria. So right off the bat, we're figuring out and we're listening, is it a good fit for Guardian? We don't want to waste the client's time either. So a win-win relationship doesn't mean Guardian makes a sale and the client gets work done and we make profit. A win-win can often be that we research, we understand, we gather enough information to give clear instruction to a client that we're not a good fit, and to point them in a direction of somebody that could help them. So truly, now, it also does mean that when we work with a client, everyone is different, and it does make them special, and we serve to their needs. So that being said, some clients are very hands off. They don't even like. I want to take time and explain a roofing system and all the parts and pieces and siding and the values and insulation. And they truly, they tell me with their word, I don't want to know that. I just want you to put the roof on. I trust you. I trust your company. Now we have some bare minimum of information that if the client is truly refusing to listen to what we're saying, they're not a good fit for us, because we want to make sure that they're educated to a point and they understand what we're doing. So the point that I'm making there is that with the clients that we work with, the relationships that we open up and we work with, we still want to serve to their needs within our company. And there is, after literally a decade and a half of doing roofing and siding, dealing with insurance claims, thousands of homeowners that are, installed, and great reviews everywhere. And I don't say this to just, I am proud of it. It's something that I am very excited to say and share, because I feel like it's an example of the team, everything that everybody does. But at the same time, it has been hard. We had to serve to a lot of different people and serve to their needs. So we've learned that, and the value that I am explaining is that this isn't just cookie cutter. And this is something that has been, I'll often like use this word of like this picture of pushing a boulder up the hill. Now, I've said that for 15 years, like, oh, having a business is like pushing a boulder up the hill. I have a little bit of a different view now after working with you for some time, that but that was my perception. My perception was that, to live these values out, to get all the people in the company around me to see this the same way. Like, I might hear somebody say, ah, that's just a picky customer. Oh, they're crazy. Or, someone within the company say something like that because, oh, they don't want to pay. They just don't want to pay their bill. And to try to help shed light from my view that that client has a different perspective, and to try to get that value built and like into every person's that's in the company view of that customer. Now, I really believe that there's part of me inside that is saying, no, like they really might have a different perspective, because that's the way I'm wired. I think about it that way. Like, I don't think that people inherently want to not pay their bill, want to get upset, complain about things. Like, I think something goes wrong. And that's my experience. Once you unearth some of this, is that, oh, they showed up a couple minutes behind schedule, or they didn't like the way that the car was parked out front. It blocked the mailman. And then when they approached the project manager, he didn't seem to hear them. And maybe that's because the generator was running and the material truck was delivering. The client gets upset. And the next thing you know, a light got broken and it's the end of the world. So, all that being said, part of me inside wants to uncover that. Like, what's going on? What is it? But there's also another part of me that I think over this 15 years, I would say 11 or 12, because we've been working together for a while now, and your lessons have been sinking in, is that it was based in an insecurity. Right? That's the part that I hate to say. It was like, I wanted to not have bad reviews in the company. I wanted to not have that client be upset with Guardian. Guardian was literally an extension of me and my personality, and that was a part of my personality where I was very insecure. I didn't want any negative reviews. I so much, because I'm like a people pleaser. I want that client at all costs to end up satisfied. And sometimes, they might be content, but I have to come to the conclusion that they might never be like, people just don't react. I want everybody to be head over heels, raving fan, telling everybody about us. But in some clients and some people, I found, that's not their personality. They're just, okay, the job was done. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Or, whatever. They're just like, yep, it's a good job. And they go about their life. The roof and the siding is not that important to them. So understanding that was a big deal. But I talk about this insecurity part because the value and the concept of customer service, you know, unpeeling the layer of the onion, making sure that they're okay, keeping clients as satisfied as we could possibly make them based off of our action and the way that they receive it is super important in business. But it was driven by me to I would say almost to a negative point where potentially I think looking back, it's hard to say because I'm looking back. I might not have heard my staff that well. I may not have listened to what they're saying. I may have like and in such an effort to impact the staff to say like, nope, regardless of what it is, we got to do this and do it like this and then get them happy. Now it works business wise, it worked, right? Like give them credit, whatever these things are, have them be satisfied. Um, so I think what's going on now with these things is it's much easier with after learning so many things, working together with you to tell more people up front, like, hey, we might not be a good fit for you based off of their paradigm of what they want, how they want things, certain ways, like especially with the insurance stuff. Some people don't want to pay their deductibles. And, we were trying to like figure out a solution or move forward in the hopes that they would recognize the value that we're bringing. And then they would be like, yeah, of course, I'll pay my deductible or whatever these things would be. And then end up, so what with this and if this is now because my internal is changing, the values of the staff in the company, it's starting to impact that because I'm teaching differently through it. So the value is absolutely the same, but the intent changes. So that being said, that's what comes to mind from a practical standpoint. And obviously the goal is with the right clients, win-win relationships, they create, income for the company, income for the staff, income for all the vendors involved, a great experience for the client, great products, warranties. That's like the win-win, right? Now, I know the point of this is inversion. What is the difference of this? So I'm interested to see. I know that you like to take notes, and so I'm curious if you, since you were so impactful, how do you read the inversion of this value?
So if the value is every customer is different and that makes them special, serve to their needs and create win-win. And the ops or another, yeah, contrast to that, every customer is the same and that makes them replaceable.
Ooh,
With systems, processes, marketing, and brand, we have the power to choose our customers, serve to the bottom line, and create a win-win for the company, even at the detriment of the customer. The customer is replaceable. So like when I read that out loud, I see the it's as if our culture, I also wrote this down. In a transient culture connected by technology, we can scale at the cost of the relationship with each customer, but focused on brand marketing, cult-like behavior. Like, yeah, it's funny because I see the seduction in that when I watch and read books and go to events and hear people speak. Um, so I'm very curious of what comes to mind. I'll read it again because it was a bit long, but I'm trying to think the opposite of the unique would be every customer is the same, and that makes them replaceable. With systems, processes, marketing, and brand, we have the power to choose our customers, serve to the bottom line, and create a win for the company, even at the detriment of the customer. The customer is replaceable.
I want you to reread it again without saying the customer is replaceable at the top part and without saying at a detriment to the customer and the customer is responsible at the bottom part.
Okay, let's
Can you
try
do
it.
it that way?
Every customer is the same, serve to the bottom line and create a or I'm sorry, I missed the part. Every customer is the same with systems, processes, marketing, and brand, we have the power to choose our customer, serve to the bottom line, and create a win for the company, even at the detriment of the
No,
customer.
nah, forget
But
that
you didn't,
part. Don't
oh,
even
you
say
didn't
that
really say.
part. Yeah. So I think I think I'm experiencing the same thing that you said. Like that's seductive. Now, like
Oh, because if you
truly,
take out that, the inherent, the implicit, there's value. There's there's value, and it sounds. Go ahead.
it's literally, and this is not a joke, right? Like, but like it's something like after hearing that, it incites something inside of me. Like I don't I've never been part of like a big group. Like I didn't play a lot of organized sports or like services, but you know how like everybody like chants something after one thing is stated and they're like hoorah or whatever, right? Like 1, 2, 3, go team. Like after you read that, it's like, you know, whatever. Go Guardians, right? Like that, like it's like almost like a programming that you would tell somebody. Because I think the attracting part, and I think where
Wow.
this is where it comes together. The attractive part or the seductive part of that is that those things are that is the truth. What you just said, I believe, is true statement. if if the business is run in such a structured standpoint that people are brought in, they are trained that like, no, this is the ideal customer. If they don't fit our mold, they're out. And the challenge that I have, and again, I do believe based from there's so many things are based from like this insecurity, is like fear of loss. If you look at everybody like, oh, they got to fit this cookie cutter mold before they can be our customer, it my fear, my concern, and I deal with this on a regular basis in the company. Leads come in, stuff comes in, and I'm like, hey, why didn't we do that? Oh, they weren't a good fit. Well, how come they weren't a good fit? So I ask the questions to understand. But really, we can cut clients off before we ever get out there in an effort because somebody might not want to expend whatever resources, time, energy, gas, whatever, to get out there and look at the thing, but at the client, at the project. But that being said, that mindset, I think, can program great soldiers. Every customer is the same. So that could be we treat them the same. We do the same thing, or through processes, procedures, marketing, and branding, we control who we get. And that's true. If you have processes, marketing, branding, everything laid out, like that is a reasonable statement that they control their own destiny. But I think it's the flesh in me that's like, yes, that's it. But even throughout the theme of what we do, the way that I communicate, it's like I'm nothing. Like I am something, don't get me wrong, but alone, I'm only one man. It's the team of guardians that are here, that work in the office, that are out in the field every day, that are doing sales, doing installation. Like it's those people are brought together by God, right? That are drawn together, that work together. The clients that we get an opportunity to serve are provided by God. Like that is my view. That is how I believe this. So saying I control who it is through marketing and branding now I don't want to release all responsibility. I'm a managing partner here in the physical, right, of this. So I have responsibility. And the thing I think that's so attractive is that I'm so focused right now on process, procedure, brand, marketing. They're positive things. Like these are all positive things, but they also, when you say it that way, can surely be used to puff up the human that might. I'm not even going to make a created person. It already sounds attractive to me, right? That's attracted to strength and something that is foundational. I believe that, but when that's, I want you to say it without the negative part, because the negative part is like, I don't like to look at that part, right? Like, oh, we don't need them. They're replaceable. We don't
Well,
care about them.
it's interesting that I, um, the partial true, it's partially true that customers are the same, but taken too far, we commoditize the relationship between the company and the customer. And taken too far, the diminishing returns to our culture, it decays the value system of the company, because how the company serves a customer is the basis of the culture. Once the company starts feeding on its customers and it loses the essence of the servant, then it just becomes a leviathan, like or an overwhelmingly powerful echo chamber or vacuum that only hears its own internal speak.
Yes.
It gets broken off from its purpose, which is to serve the customers, and it just starts serving itself, and
But
that
it's so
undermines.
attractive. That truly, that mindset, there's like this ebb and flow, this balance of leadership. As a leader, I'm the entrepreneur, right? I'm the owner and founder of Guardian Roofing and Siding. So I'm like I'm steering the ship. There's something about, like, even if you think when I think of the core concept of business, I want to grow. How do you grow? You attract, you know, what the three R's, right? What money you use, your resources, for the relationships and the reasons. So with that being said, I want to attract people. I want to scale marketing. And you broke it down not that long ago, like a flyer. Like, you create the flyer, you go out, you deliver it, and then it creates a response back. Well, then when you scale something up, you have more marketing, whether it's your face on someone's phone 28 times a day saying, this is what's going on. This is Guardian. We're great. You're awesome. This is how we care. This is how we fix our mess ups. Whatever the way the marketing goes, you're attracting the the people, the relationships, whether it's clients or new hires, and you're scaling it. So that concept of, all right, I need process, procedure, marketing, and branding, right? Like, so people understand and we keep buying. And well, what's the reason? Well, so the point is that it is attractive from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Like, I want to be able to choose the clients more carefully. I want to do this, but it's like this paradox, because really we have to still keep that relationship, I believe, with every single one. It's not only the customers, because that mindset, and my focus is so much more internally right now. Of course, I care about the customers, but I don't even get to deal with them that often. I deal with the staff. So I'm so focused on, I need to, and when I, let me make sure I'm saying this clearly. I'm more focused on working with the staff on a daily basis, that I want to teach these values and how to live out these values through a practical application in the office and in the field, that I'm not dealing as much with the homeowner. So that being said, it's I can easily fall to the side of process, procedure, marketing, and brand, and forget about the interrelationship between the rep and the homeowner, the rep and the office staff and the homeowner, the supplier. Like, I can forget that. When I become a little bit detached from there, it I'm looking at the Leviathan mindset. Like, all right, well, if we get more marketing and we keep our branding well, we can create more opportunities, and then open more business relationships, and then go into commercial or whatever else these things are. So it has, but that is not the evil stepchild, right? They need to go hand in hand, because if the culture is great, but their systems are all over the place and nobody's talking to each other, and one guy does it one way, one does it another way, and they're extremely different, and it messes up the processes. So this is great. It's exciting. It really is an exciting discussion, Jay, because it's helpful for me. I'm always, especially this time of the year, it's slower from install side. I'm so focused on process, procedure, build out, preparing for 2024. And I won't say I've completely lost touch with client. It's not true. I just spent 4 hours on Tuesday with a client, sat there, and I'm still in it, but it's a nice reminder. Like, I need to spend at least 25% of the time focused with the reps, the office, about like, hey, this is the why. This is the why that we are making this process procedure. It's not like, oh, we're just putting a camera in the truck or a GPS tracker in the truck, like, because it's our property. We need to track it. We need to do this. We need to do that. Da, 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 da. Like, to focus on the inner relationships between the staff as well as outside to the company. And that's when we say brand, I think of that. I think culture. Our brand is the culture, right? What the experience is from the client, not a big G or the name Guardian. Like, the brand is actually the experience and the word of the staff, the word of the clients. When I think process procedure, those are these positive things that I think of. And when I think marketing, same thing. It's like, we're letting people know what we do and how we do it. So although these are, I think it's like such a fine line between fall into I'm not even saying negative or dark side, falling more heavy towards process procedure and letting the business of business overtake the culture versus culture utilizing the tools of business. And that's where you've been extremely helpful for me to just, keep opening my eyes year after year about the hierarchy and different levels of business, and making sure that as the culture grows and it attracts these quality people, all right, well, what processes, procedures, layout, structure, hierarchy, how to hire people, like all these different things to make sure that we can manage the staff. We can, not even that manage is a bad word, but we can continue to maintain leadership relationships, growth in communication with the staff and clients, and oversee the larger growth of the company and manage that growth responsibly and in a mirroring way, and growing the culture, because it does become a challenge as more and more people come in. So I really, again, exciting to make another reminder to stay on track with processes, procedures, as well as marketing and branding, as well as making sure that the why is there and pronounced. And that's my job, right? And for anybody that's listening, that's a entrepreneur, business owner, like, it's really can become unclear, like, what the heck is our job? Because we do so many things, especially in an ever changing, growing, ebb and flowing type of a business model. That's our job, is to cast that vision, remind the people why, understand where the values come from, live out the values, and then in some certain scenarios, change them as things change them. If it's a written value, to change it on the wall, but mostly it's like continue to live it out and share it, because it's what's going to impact, and this is something that I'm pulling from you, Jay. Like, it's like, when we have it written out on the wall and it's laid out, I attribute it back to, like, the example you used, the 10 Commandments, right? It's like a baseline that each individual can then use to make a decision when we're on our own, based off of the lessons that have been taught to us through language and experience. So it's really awesome. Great job.
If you're listening to this, please share this with someone that you think needs to hear this. Please leave a review on the Culture Matters podcast, Apple, Spotify. Please leave us a review. We'll see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast.